Lovely touch from him, though. Harry Kane, Lucas Moura, can you do something, please? Last chance. Last chance. Matt Doherty!
Oh, you shite! There could be from the dead to the
Don't fuck it up now. Don't fuck it up. Go and win it. Go and win it. Go and win it.
Let's go
Last
for
chance. Stephen Bergwijn. Stephen Bergwijn's through. Win it, Stephen. Come on.
Yes! He's won it! He has won it! Oh my God! Oh my God! We did it!
Sorry about that. I forgot to bring myself back in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Tuesday. It is the 2022 version of April the 26th. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? You're back here at the Spurs Talk Show. I got to close the door because this is an impromptu private session with just a couple of people that I love from the community. Two of my favourite people and me are going to discuss with you all of the things that are happening in the news today regarding Tottenham bloody Hotspur. And of course, the vast majority of it, with the exception of a couple of transfer things, is about Conte. Before we get into that, before I bring them in, I want to ask you again, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? But also, just in case you didn't know, you can find me at Spurs Talk Show on Twitter. You can find me at Spurs Talk Show on Instagram. And you know what? Now that Elon Musk is buying Twitter, expect my Twitter to be a little bit more, I don't know, like flamboyant with my speech, because I feel like I've got a bit more freedom to say what I want to say. We'll keep it all things Tottenham, of course. Anyway, you can also find me on YouTube. But if you're going to do that and you're going to search for me rather than finding me here, what you might have to do is put no spaces between the word Spurs and talk and show. Because if you do, you know what happens. I've got a vendetta out against the Spurs Talk Show from Arizona. No, from San Antonio. Sorry, San Antonio. Arizona's fine. It's Texas that's not okay because they haven't made any content in 4 years, yet the numbers keep going up. They keep going up. What's happening? Don't understand it. I do understand it. It's because you didn't put a hashtag no spaces in your thought process. Anyway, love to you all. Hope everyone's doing okay. I'm already riled up. And you know why? It's because the content that's going to come in this conversation over the next hour is going to be annoying and divisive. Let's get the people in, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Wait a minute, there's no one here yet. I have to go through the process. They even said they'd walk out. They didn't get the process implemented. And I understand the process. I respect the process. So let's do the process. Did someone say there's someone at the door? I think there's someone at the door. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, the artist formerly known as the man who had the audacity to put numbers in his name and now is known as the artist who copies other people who put numbers in their name. It's Cuba99.
I didn't want the doorbell.
No, well,
you've got it all wrong, mate.
You didn't want a doorbell, did you?
All these professionals start with the credits and everything. Forget to put yourself on stream. As soon as it comes to the human element, you just lose it, don't you, mate?
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
Right, this doorbell nonsense. Knock on wood. That's what it's all about.
Would you like to go out and come back in again?
No, I'm just going to leave. No, that's right. I'll put up with it anyway. I thought I'd change my name specially for the show as well.
Love it. Kupatici. Your name can be flipped and flopped and massaged into 1,000 variables. It's fantastic. It's amazing. Stay right there, Kuba. But before I bring in the next guy who did want a doorbell, and he's not going to get a doorbell, he's going to get something else. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Sean. Good to be here again. It's always the most upbeat and fun show to come onto, isn't it? And then it all starts going downhill rapidly.
Yeah. The first 10 minutes are the best 10 minutes, and then the numbers should drop. Mate, good to have you, man. As always, try and keep it upbeat as we do, and that's why I always invite you and this man, ladies and gentlemen. I can already see what he's called. Can already see what he's changed his name to. Wait a minute. First of all, he wanted the doorbell. He doesn't get the doorbell. You know what he gets? At best is what he gets. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up to the guy who's created a new name. And if you know him as you might know him, there's not that many names that he didn't have already in his repertoire. We're going to call him, I think he's calling himself Banty.
It's like a kid's doll.
How are you, Bazza?
Well, I didn't get the doorbell, and Kuba didn't get the knock on the door. You got it completely wrong. Kuba, should we just leave?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I've got no one else to talk to.
Yeah, my favourite people who I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel with. You mean?
Yeah.
No, I mean genuinely.
There's literally nobody.
I'm going to bring him back in. Don't do that again. All right, let's get back. How are you boys doing? How you boys feeling generally after what happened on the weekend? I haven't been on a stream with either of you since the debacle at the Brentford Community Stadium. Are you over it? Like, you know what? A lot, myself included. And I'm probably one of the worst for this right now because I'm usually glass half full, but at the moment I'm feeling pretty much glass half empty, which is rare for me. And I've gone like, I'm demanding change. But I spoke to my dad earlier, and he was like, he's a massive Tottenham fan as well. Not Tottenham enough to get into the community, but Tottenham, you know, for the average Tottenham. And he said, he's like, Brentford is not an easy place to go and get a result. I don't know why everyone was like writing it down as 3 points or it's shit. And, you know, that they beat Chelsea, they beat Arsenal, etc. So maybe a point wasn't as bad a result as we thought. And I was like, oh, maybe. At the time, though, it felt like a loss. How are you feeling about it, Kuv?
I'm okay with it. I mean, a few weeks back, we weren't in a top four race. Now we're bang in it, and it's still in our hands. So what's the problem? We just keep plugging away, win as many games as we can. If we get top four, we do. We're in a much better position than we were those weeks ago. Now, let's not forget, it's kind of tarnished all that those massive wins in a row we were getting. It was a brilliant time, that. And it had to come to an end sometime, so it was just sooner than we were expecting. I'm not bothered. Back on the bike again, and off we go. Let's take it. It's still there. Game on.
I love the fact that you flip-flopped me in positivity, because about 2 months ago, I was like, it don't matter, we're still going to do it. I was still making bets about, 50 quids here, 50 quids there on top four when we would look nothing like it. And you walked away from the entire thing, from the entire streaming process, because you were finding it that difficult. Now you've come back with like this boosters up your ass about how about how positive we can be. And I'm like, I don't know, looking at the performance.
It's the whole seeing a direction now. Before we had no direction. That's what was getting me down. I didn't see where we could possibly be going, but I do now. I do see the Conte system, how it's going to work. We just wrecked the injuries now.
How long is it going to work for? This is some of the news we're going to have to talk about shortly, and
we'll come to that then.
We'll come to that as well in injuries. Bazza, I'm going to ask you exactly the same question, but just before I do, I want to apologise to the people in the comments. Typical Sean making his erroneous entries into the stream. I haven't even said hello to anybody yet. I'm going to come to you guys in just a moment. But Bazza, Banty, whatever name we're going by today, same question to you, my friend. How are you feeling post Brentford?
Look, if anyone, I said this yesterday, I said this after the game. If anyone, if you said to us, at the start of the season, and particularly after what happened with Nuno, with 5 games to go, we'll be 2 points off top 4. Every single Spurs fan would take that. They would not say at that point, "Oh no, that I'm not having that." Yeah.
True.
So, and look, like you said, Brentford, they beat Arsenal, they drew with Liverpool, they went to Chelsea and battered them, and what I'm frustrated more about is the overreaction that it's the end of the world. Conte should be gone. The players are this, the players are that. Look, we know what the players are. We can't change them. We can't do anything with them. We just need to support them. And look, I think that.
Are you seeing Conte out? Are you actually seeing Conte out in places? Are you?
Yes, people calling for Conte's tactics. Conte's this, Conte's that. Conte should change this. Conte should change from his 3-4-3. He should change it to this.
Oh yeah, I'm part of that, but I'm not part of the Conte out brigade. I like
There's Conte out. There's Conte out, mate. There's Conte out, and obviously that's heightened with what we're probably going to go on and discuss about. Yeah. But look, 15 points up for grabs. We've seen in the last week how quickly things can turn around with what Arsenal have done and results and everything else. There's still teams in and around the likes of Newcastle, the likes of Everton, the likes of Burnley potentially, that have got to go and get something, right? And there's no point us predicting results because it could be, absolutely, we'll be wrong. I said last night on Tottenham away that we will get something at Liverpool. Whether that's a win or a draw, we will get something, right?
Yep,
and that if we draw there, win the rest of the games, or I don't even think we need to win the rest of the games because obviously we want to beat. We're going to beat Arsenal at White Hart Lane, but look, whatever happens, we're not out of it, right? Until we're physically out of it with points. Anybody would think that Arsenal were 20 points ahead of us.
Yeah, I agree with that.
With only 6 points available, and they're jizzing over the fact of what's happening. But they weren't jizzing over the fact that we went on a run of 7 out of 9. They weren't jizzing on the fact that we went 4 wins out of 4. And I think that we just need to not go so up like the high.
It's the volatility of the emotions is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's for me where we need to stick together. Whatever happens whatever happens in the summer, transfers, whatever, we can't do anything about that. The next 5 games is all about supporting the team and getting behind the players. And that, for me, that is all that matters. Whether you're Levy in, Levy out, this player's crap, that player's crap, we all need to just be together and support the 11 players that are on the pitch for however long that takes,
I agree. But I do think we, as content creators in the community, have a duty to, and the beautiful thing about being a Tottenham content creator is there's always something to talk about. There's a never-ending stream of new debacles, new controversies, new rumours, new whatever. And we're going to get into some of those things right now. But before I do, forgive me, guys.
Sorry. I was going to say one quick thing about the volatility with the Spurs. I'm all for it. Going wildly overreacting. It's great because it's the roller coaster ride. You should be doing it, but
put your hands out of the seats.
Exactly. But you get it out of your system. Yeah, get it out of your system though, because after you get it out of your system for a day or two, then it's back to business. Get on the horse again.
Yeah.
Off we go. Start focusing again. People are letting it fester too long, I think.
I agree.
Just got to put it behind you sometimes.
I think that's also a consequence of only having one game to reflect on every 7 days, whereas until now we only have a couple of days before we have to focus on the next. But we're going to talk about all this stuff in a second or two. I'm so sorry for the people that were waiting for their acknowledgement of coming to join the channel. And it's impromptu, ridiculously weird, 2:45 UK time on a Tuesday, and there's 20 people watching, which is amazing. Didn't expect it, but thanks for everyone for stopping by. The first of which is Jack Kanicki saying, "You got to expose my delay like that, Sean." I think he's talking about the fact that I left it like 20 seconds before I figured out. I was like, "What have I got to do here? How do I when the intro finishes? How do I get the?" Jack, I love you, my friend, and I'm sorry I can't make it on your 4 o'clock show. This is why this has got to be a quick one. I've got these calls to come on. But everyone, when this is done, get over to the Irish Hotspur because Jack is doing his tactical breakdown on what happened with the Brentford game. I think it starts about 4 o'clock. Love you, man. Ellie is in the house. Hello, Ellie. How are you? She says, well, hiya, Sean. Hiya. It's not game day. It's not, but it's Spurs Talk Show Day. It is. It is the Spurs Talk Show Day. And she's correcting herself. Chris Agomba in the house. What's happening, Chris? Good to see you, my friend. Good afternoon, chaps. Good afternoon to you. Jackie saying, hey, Coover, I reckon Coover's house has no doorbell and a big no solicitors plaque. No solicitation, please. I absolutely believe that's true as well. NJ123's in the house saying, open the door and let me in. Well, I'm not even sure who NJ123 is, but thank you for stopping by. I think you're a new subscriber. I think you came on board the channel after the watch along I did on Saturday. So welcome to the channel, my friend. I hope you're well. Right Heart Lane, afternoon panel, and the chat was crack-a-lacking, Mr. Wright. Good to see you, my friend. DMT85 is saying, totally agree with Coover. Hopefully we got those couple of poor results out the way and we push on. I hope the same, mate. I really do. But I am a little bit concerned about inflexibility with tactics, and that's what we're going to talk about today alongside a little bit of other news. Dermot's in the house. What's crack-a-lacking, Dermo? Hope you're well, my friend. Ghost of Mourinho's in the house saying the problem is putting in the context of Arsenal winning fixtures we thought they would lose and us doing the reverse. That is part of the problem. It compounds on the negativity. But then I guess you could look at the same things that happened only 3-4 weeks prior when they were losing to Brentford. They lost to Brighton. They lost to, I forget who the other team they lost to. Who was the third team they lost to, boys?
Brighton, Southampton.
Southampton. And, yeah. So, did they lose to Brentford? I think they did lose to Brentford, didn't they, as well? That was the three. I think that was the 3 teams. Anyway, Bobspur TV. Good afternoonings. Good afternoonings, indeed. Gorgeous chaps. Hi to Sean too. Piss off, Bob. I smell of cherries and pomegranates. I love pomegranates. They're amazing. Scott M. I agree with Barry. We will get something at Liverpool. Oh, a thrashing.
Damn, that was going to be my joke.
Scott M coming in there with a delayed nuance on his comment. Welcome to the show, Scott. Who else we got? Alan Harris is saying hello. And is there anybody else there? No, everybody else is already said hello. Cool, guys. Well, it's good to see you. Let me now bring you the news. I want to get everyone's opinion. Hello, mate. Everyone's wanted to find out what we're talking about. The first thing I want to talk about, the major thing. So, Christian Eriksen and Ledley King gave their thoughts on Conte's tactics and on Harry Kane generally, right? And I'm going to give you a quote here, 2 quotes, in fact. One from Ledley, one from Christian Eriksen. Ledley King said, I think with Harry, teams are sensing that Tottenham like to build up through Harry. They are really doubling up on him at times and getting bodies around him and making it difficult. And that seems to have taken Tottenham out of their momentum. At the very same time, or maybe a little bit after the game, Christian Eriksen said, I think we knew what they were coming with. I played with Conte and I know the system he likes to play. And we trained in the week how we thought they would play, and they played the way we expected. So, my question to you two, and I'll start with you, Coov, is I'm bloody frustrated with Conte's inflexibility, right? He does the 3-4-3, and he fits the formation. He fits the team into the formation rather than the formation into the team. I understand why. But I've been saying it for a while. A few people have been saying it for a while that if you're predictable, then you're easy to play against. Does Eriksen and King's points, are they something that we need to just consider and say, on the basis that teams can spend their entire week predicting how to play against Tottenham, and then we come out and don't do anything to surprise them? There's no 3D chess going on. Is it a problem? Are Leicester going to do exactly the same thing if we play the same way? If we start on Sunday with the same team, same formation, and do everything we did against Brentford and Leicester? I know I'm rambling on, but usual question, Kuba. Explain to me. Make sense of it. Shut up, Barry. Before you say a fucking word, shut up.
What was the start of that again? Yeah, of course it's a problem. But the problem isn't as simple as just change the team up, because we haven't got the players to change it a lot of ways. It wouldn't be a problem that everything's going through Kane. Sorry. It would be a problem everything's going through Kane, because we've lost the sort of wing backs we had a few weeks ago. That the effect is not the same. Instead of having a three-pronged attack when we go forward, it's all going through the middle now. When we put it out wide, our wing back situation is just dead. It's absolutely terrible. Sessegnon, who I've got a lot of time for, but he was awful against Brentford. He just couldn't seem to put in a decent cross. Emerson, forget it. I don't even rate him as a footballer of any kind, any level. I honestly think I played better with Sunday Park players than he is. We've lost our way now because of it. That Doherty injury is looking more of a hindrance than we possibly imagined. It's struck us down. The link up with Kulusevski is gone, so Kulusevski's struggling. The wheels came off because of that. Sticking with the rigid system is fine if you've still got three options. You've got both flanks and through the middle available attacking. It's not a problem. Why would you have to fix that? But we don't have the flanks now, so it is predictable. It's going to come through Kane, and everybody pointed out this last season, even when Mourinho was here. That's the way we play.
Is that the reason why Kane? Is that the reason why Kane didn't drop deep? Because Conte said, "Well, it's predictable that you're going to drop deep." So my version of being unpredictable is to tell you to stay at the top, and then hope that Højbjerg and Bentancur and or Emerson and Sessegnon can find a path to you in a more advanced position.
Well, I think that was more a case of we saw that prevalent against Villa in particular, and that was to negate their really high press. They were so aggressive with it, we couldn't get the ball out from the back. So Kane going.
We went over the top, but then we went over the top, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, that's sometimes you have to adapt to that sort of situation. But against Brentford, we're just it was just a lack. It was all going through the middle. When we know the wing backs, when other teams know the wing backs are struggling, you really just put a man to drop a little bit deeper on Sonny so he can't get ahead of it, can't sort of stretch the line too much. Stick several people on Kane. There was times I saw 4 people marking Kane, and the ball still went into him. Of course, he lost it. And then people said, "Oh, Kane's having a rubbish game." I mean, what do you expect him to do with 4 men on him? We were so utterly predictable. It was unreal. But I'd take the comments on board from Ledley and who else was saying? Oh, Ericsson as well. Yeah, it is predictable at the moment. But what's there on the bench to really change it up? We've got Lucas Moura, Bergwijn.
Well,
I mean, they're
options,
wingers.
There are
but
options.
again, it's looking for like the advanced forward. We're looking for that wing back area, so the fullbacks to push forward and add to it. You want your wingers and you want your fullbacks bombing forward. So they're supporting each other. There's options.
Well, we can talk about, because I do think there are options. I think there are, and it doesn't even necessarily have to change the formation. We could just change some of the personnel, but you also could change the formation. Although I don't expect Conte to be that drastic. Barry, are you concerned that Christian Eriksen, who would probably love a move to Tottenham in the summer, has come out after the game and essentially said, we knew exactly what Tottenham were going to do and we trained all week about it, and then lo and behold, they did exactly what we thought they would do. It's like Ronsil. We do exactly what they say on the tin.
Yeah, so I mean, look, Conte set up this system, like Kuva said about Doherty being injured. I don't think if you were saying, would you be fussed 8 weeks ago if Doherty got injured, everyone would say no. But now it's looking more and more apparent the impact that he have, especially on that right hand side with Kulusevski and the amount of space and drive that he kind of helps gets for him. We know where we're at in terms of the squad. Like I said earlier, look, I think it's every other team knew what we were doing, but it's just become apparent because of the results the last two games. No, so when we were smashing Leeds and Newcastle and Everton, okay, and give them their dues. Those are the teams and where they are in the league and what have you. But we still have to go out and do that. It's not just a given. You don't, in the Premier League, you don't just, look at what happened with Norwich and Man United. Norwich went to Old Trafford and, on another day, they potentially walk away with a result if Ronaldo's not on form. So, look, every team is going to be tough. Every team knows how to do it. And I think, look, we're not going to change this formation. I don't think we're going to change the personnel unless we have any injuries. We could do, but Conte, I think the other thing is that we can change the attacking options. We can change some of the defensive options, but the key thing that we can't change is where we probably need to is that midfield option because we only have Harry Winks on the bench.
But you could ask Harry Kane to come back, like not as a 10, but almost come back as an 8. I'd rather him as an 8 than Harry Winks all day long, because Harry Winks doesn't tackle anyway. He doesn't defend. And in terms of passing ability, Harry Kane is as good a passer of the ball as anybody in the Premiership, right? So there are options. Before we talk about the options, Bazza and Coov, I just want to. So Scott M is in the house saying, was he predictable and easy to play against while winning titles at Juve, Inter, and Chelsea? No, but here with no quality and no options to change anything, he's all of a sudden the problem. Now, I'm not saying my contention isn't that he is. I think sometimes if you posit a suggestion that someone could do better in their particular role, then you are allocating 100% of the blame to the person that you're talking about. And I don't think that it's a binary allocation of blame. I think there's always like a pie of, what's responsible. And Daniel Levy gets a lot of it, right? For not allowing things to happen in windows or whatever to give us more options. And then but in this particular case, you can say, well, Harry, in the Aston Villa game, we survived that particular problem by going long. But that wasn't something that was tried at all against Brentford or Brighton. You could argue that against Newcastle, we were under a massive amount of pressure in the first half. We managed to scrape through by being 1-1 at half time. Second half, Harry Kane comes deep, really deep. Like in the second half, his heat spot was in our own half. And that was the reason why we then went on to win 5-1 or whatever we did, right? But against Brentford and against Brighton, neither of those two things happened. We didn't go long to a more advanced Harry Kane, and Harry Kane didn't come short to a more of a fluid passing thing. And there's also other blame that you allocate to people like Eric Dyer, who took 5 touches on the ball and was slow passing it round, and it was just a nightmare. Bentancur had a bad day. Emerson Royale can't trap a bag of cement, can't pass, for his life. So there's more than, it's not just a binary position of blame. I'm not saying that Conte is at fault entirely, but I do think that he could have or should have some sort of option B, some sort of plan B, whether it's to tell Harry Kane to come deep, whether it's to take Emerson off and be more experimental, a bit more adventurous with the right wing back slot, like whether it's to go to a back 4, because the argument is that you could go to a back 4, a 4-2-3-1. You could take Ben Davies off and put Bergwijn on. Right? Any of those things were possible, but none of those things happened. There was literally nothing that changed. So that's where my frustration is, Scott. Barry, like Kuva, do you agree with me, or do you take Scott's take, which is just like we are fucked by the team we have?
Yeah. Did you want to go first, Barry, or
no? You can go first, Kuva.
Okay. Yeah. What I'd address on that is the tactical change with Villa was different to what well, the tactics that Villa were employing were different to the ones that Brentford and Brighton employed. Villa were controlling the area of the midfield just ahead of our box. They were very high with a very aggressive press. Kane going forward, it just literally removed himself from that deep area. Villa didn't go with him. They weren't man marking him. Whereas Brentford and Brighton were both man marking him. So it wouldn't matter if he dropped deep or he stayed up top. He was still going to have that attention on him. What was lacking so severely from my point of view was we could not get anything going on either flank. It was poor performances by wing backs. They weren't linking up with the forward players. We lost that connection that Doherty had formed with Kulusevski that was working so well. Again, Doherty did the same going over and pairing up with Son. It was working really well there. The ones that come in have just not stepped up there. It's whether it's lack of game time or lack of ability in Emerson's case. Oh my God, lack of ability.
Yeah, he's so bad, isn't he? So bad.
He's got to be up there, one of the worst ever signings we've made, I think. So the quality's lacking. And when you say we can change it up, in those particular positions, I don't think we can at the moment.
Right wing back.
I mean,
you won't entertain the idea of putting Sessegnon as an inverted right wing back, and then I understand that there'd be an issue if you had Kulusevski in the more advanced role, then you've got two left-footed players on the right, and it doesn't work to have both of them cutting in. So I'd be up for Sessegnon to be at right wing back, but then that would require not including Kulusevski and putting someone like Bergwijn or a Lucas Moura in a more advanced role who is naturally right-footed, who could go down the byline.
Unfortunately, Sess struggled on the left. I think it was like 0 out of 8 crosses attempted against Brentford, something like that. Yeah, it was poor. So putting him on the right, is that going to get any better? I don't think so. He's just not on form or something at the moment, or he's still finding his way after the constant injuries. Maybe he's one of these players like Harry Kane. He needs a long run before he starts getting to the peak of fitness and feeling sharp in the games. That could be the case with him. I don't know. Injuries seem to be wrecking his career with us, that's for sure. Yeah. But we just do not have that sort of player in backup now. Doherty solved a load of problems by going away, learning from all the stuff he'd been doing badly and admitting openly he's been having a poor season. Went away, worked on it, he came back and he was firing. You've got to respect that. Yeah. He proved his worth. Now he's gone, we're back to where we were before. It's not firing. So it's going to be a hard grind to the end of the season, unfortunately, in my views. But we can still do it. We've got to work on getting these players forward on the flanks. You can't have it all going through Kane. It's too easy to play against. Okay. With the likes of Bentancur, he was doing so well by getting the ball and shrugging off his man if he had somebody on him. It's so much easier if you've got 3 options ahead of you, both flanks and through the middle. If you've only got Kane, there's going to be 4 players on him. It's simple as that. It's too easy to mark out one winger at a time up at the forward. They need support. They need a player going with them, either undercutting or overlapping. It's just the way it works. Beckham and Gary Neville, they did it really well. Is Gary Neville a great fullback? I didn't think so.
That was back in the days of
with him.
The
partnership was great, yeah. And he could cross a ball. He didn't need to be a wing back, did he? So it's nothing. All this talk about bought him as a right back and not a wing back. I don't buy any of that. A right back can cross a ball.
I think that's the argument, though. I think it's the responsibility of being able to get forward and get back. I think it's the. I think that the difference between a right wing back and a right back is the responsibility on that. It's either one player or it's a shared responsibility.
Yeah, sure. There's more stamina and up and down, engine up and down the pitch all the game with a right wing back. But you look at the likes of Emerson. He's certainly got an engine. He can be bloody useless up front or at the back. His big plus with Emerson is he's quite good at recovering the ball after he's lost it.
Yeah.
Other than that, otherwise he's just there for playing head tennis.
So Barry, right? So Ellie's saying Conte needs Bergwijn bombing down the wing, creating havoc, taking players on. is when you run at defenders, they generally panic. We need freshening up. She agrees with me. To Cooper's point, right? Like we're sitting here mocking Emerson for his ability to be given the ball but lose the ball. Or you could make the argument that, a lot of the disruption to the flow of the team is that Tottenham players don't trust him with the ball. And, kind of rightly so. So, like, first of all, I'll ask this one. Like, is there a better option than Bergwijn? Sorry, is there a better option than Emerson at right wing back? How do you feel about that one? I've got a follow-up question, but I'll let you deal with this one first.
Yeah, because otherwise we'll get into a 3-minute question. Sure. Yeah. And I'll get lost of what you even asked me.
I'm trying to get better at being less verbose. It's it's a lesson, it's a learning curve. So bear with me.
I mean, if you look at Emerson's haircut, just sums him up as a footballer. He's got a shepherd's pie on his head. I know William Kelly just said that in the comments, but
that's amazing.
That just sums up him as a footballer. Fucking shepherd's pie on his head.
Look, I like shepherd's pie.
Yeah, you don't like this shepherd's pie, do you?
No, I don't. Oh, you're right.
So for me, I think I would play Sessegnon on the right. Play this full. I get that there's the option, like you were saying, Sean, about having two players that were playing inverted, and that's where I think Lucas Moura then comes into play, because he, like you say, he can stretch it and go down that side. Look, I think Steven Bergwijn has scored 5 goals or 6 goals since he's been here, and that's maybe the reason that he's not had extended time. I think there's also another option in terms of he's been asked to play at wing back and he's basically sulked and said no, which is why he's not getting the game time. But yeah, there's there is that option potentially where you could go to a 4, like you said, and play Cess on the right, drop Kane in into the middle. But look, I think that we are where we are with these players. We can't. I don't think Conte will want to try and change things now. I think we've had the opportunity to try and change it, and for whatever reason, whether it's the players don't want to do it or it's not working, we can't change something with five games to go. I don't even think that means bringing in the kids or
so you're happy with the same team. So against Leicester. So this, just quickly, because I want to make a point about this whilst I'm giving the question. So this isn't a 3-minute question. This is a 2-minute opinion and a 1-minute question. Okay.
And a 2-minute preamble for the question.
Well, if you didn't point it out, I wouldn't have to explain, bastards.
10 seconds in already, Sean.
So a lot of people like saying we haven't got the team. We haven't got HIT young Puddy. Love that name. He's asking the question. So we only have got 11. Do we only have 11 players? Scott M saying he thinks we have less than 11 players because the people that are on the team sheet aren't good enough. Like, we might not have a team that traditionally would be good enough to get top 4, but we are 4th or 5th, and we're playing against teams and losing against teams that are 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, right? We lost to Brighton. We lost to Wolves. We lost to... I know we also have beaten the team that's number 1. We've drawn with the team that's number 2. Right, I know Chelsea's a bad example, but like we have a squad that have outplayed the best and have also lost to the worst. So you have to, I think if you're reasonable with your opinion, you have to say that on any given day in the Premier League, like it depends which 11 want it more or who can play better or where the tactics are better defined, because small teams beat big teams all the time. So it's not as simple as just saying, on paper, our team isn't that good. Therefore, that's why we lose to teams, because we're losing to teams that are worse than us. And those teams that are worse than us in the Premier League because they've lost more games against other teams than we have over the course of the season. So what I'm asking you, Barry, is you say that we don't have any other options. Do do you generally think that we couldn't swap it up? I take your point about changing the formation. Irish Hotspur said the same thing last night, and I agree with him. You're not going to experiment with a new formation with 5 games to go. But there can be individual player roles and responsibilities that can be implemented, right? There can be a swap. Yeah, if Emerson is the weak link because no one trusts him, recognize that, change it. And if so, like, how do you change it, Bazza? What would you do if you were Conte? You're getting paid 400 grand a week. What do you do? Because the question was to you: if you see the same starting 11, against Leicester,
Yep.
with the same formation, are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm okay with that because one, like we say, we don't have the depth. I think. Look, I think we all had to get to the point where, when we knew Doherty was out, we have to get in our mindset that Emerson is going to play until the end of the season, barring injury. I don't believe that there's going to be that massive change, because there isn't anyone, and that that goes into a whole nother conversation. But if they're the 11 players that the manager that is paid all this £100,000 a week, decides that they should be the 11 that start the games, let's not forget we all know what Emerson's been like, but we've still been winning games when he's been playing. Whether that's because no one's passed him the ball is another story. But I think if we go, I don't see any changes. The only change potentially for me is going to be the left wing back, Reggie or Cess. It's like choosing between. It's like going somewhere and choosing how you want to die. Do you want to have a gun, or do you want to, lightning bolt or something? It's it's the best of the two bad choices, really. So, look, we just, for me, if we get there Sunday, I don't see any changes apart from that left back. And if there is, by some miracle, then I think everyone will be shocked. I don't think anyone's going to be expecting it. So, and if that means that Leicester know what they need to do, then I'm sure we've got enough data analysts and all these types of players that we know how Leicester are going to play. So we can all sit there and say, we know we're going to play through the middle, or we know we're going to try and go down the wing, or we know we're going to go through Harry Kane. I'm sure we've got people that will go, well, I know Leicester are going to go through this place. I know Leicester are going to play like this. So it's a bit
if the other team are setting themselves up with the intention, like the reason why we beat Everton, the reason why we beat Leeds, the reason why we beat Man City is because those teams, one of them I understand why, the other two no idea why, is because they don't give a fuck about the team that is playing. They go, we're going to outplay you based on our football. Man City, that makes sense. Liverpool, that makes sense. Leeds, under Bielsa, that I understand it, right? Like we might concede, but we're going to score more. I had no idea why Everton did what they did under Frank Lampard. It was madness. But Newcastle had a plan, and we adapted. Aston Villa had a plan, and we adapted. Burnley, Wolves, Southampton, Middlesbrough had a plan, and we didn't adapt. Neither did we at Brighton or Brentford. So if Leicester's plan is to figure out our plan, then our plan should be to not do the plan that Leicester think that our plan is going to be. Keep them fucking guessing.
But then that works the other way around, Sean. If we know how Leicester are going to plan, we've got a week to plan how they're going to plan. we make our plan against
which
their
is
plan.
Which is why I'm saying if their plan is to predict our plan, which is predictable, then don't be so fucking predictable. And that's the plan to beat Leicester's plan, right? Change something up.
You can't plan for that, though.
Don't be so predictable, right? That's the thing. Like, all Tottenham have got to do is walk out there with Sanchez on the starting 11, or with Emerson not in the starting 11, or with Harry Kane like sitting back and be like, do something that isn't predictable, and all of Leicester's preparation goes out the fucking window, and then they turn around to their manager and go, well, this isn't what we planned for. Now what do we do? And then we have 11 players that are better than their 11 players, and we can outperform them, but we don't do that, which is what annoys me. This is what I'm not saying that Conte needs. I'm not Conte out. I'm not Conte doubt. I love the guy. I just want him to go, okay, let's not be predictable. And then Leicester have spent all week planning to play against a certain Tottenham style, and then we don't put that style out.
Okay, so I get what you're saying, Sean. To give it another way of explaining what you're getting to, that first half against Chelsea, we I think it's the best first half of football we've probably played all season.
In which game against them are you talking about?
The first game when it was 0-0 at half time, and then tactically, they brought N'Golo Conte on, and then they battered us second half. So that's what you want Conte to do, is you want to,
but not at half time.
No. But that's what you want him to do, something that's gonna throw it all out the mix and go, fuck you, 3-0. We go in 3-0 at half time and go, everyone's on the happy train again.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be changing the formation. I understand that, like, there's your system, and then if you want to like throw the baby out with the bathwater and go, well, because we're predictable, let's not be predictable. Let's go to like a fullback situation, or let's go to a 4-2-4. I'm not asking for that level of drastic. I'm just saying, if they think that they're going to see the 11 that we showed them, it can still be the same 11, but it can have different player for player specific instructions. Yeah. Or it could be put Sessegnon at right wing back, take Kulusevski off and put Lucas Moura in. And that 11 with that specific set of instructions for that particular 11, Leicester will not have prepared for. And if you're playing against a team that are not prepared for a better 11 on paper, then I think that you can catch them off guard, and at least in the first half you can then get an early goal, and then go in at half time, and then you can revert back, right? But we go into these games and we're so stale and flat out of the traps anyway, and we're still playing the exact same thing. Like that Eriksen's comments. Let me read it again for anyone that's just joined, because there's now 32 people watching. Eriksen's comments were, I think we knew what they were coming with. I've played with Conte and I know the system he likes to play. And we trained in the week how we thought they would play, and they played the way we expected. Keep them guessing. Kuva, like, am I mad? Like, just change something. You haven't got to check. You can still do 3-4-3. But put Kulusevski at right wing back. Bring Harry Winks. I don't care. Something that is not so predictable. Ask Harry Kane to come back. Go long. Do what we did against Villa. It's not that complicated. There are options, but if you just do the same fucking thing over and over again and expect a different result, that is the definition of insanity. Kuba, help me out here, bro.
Well, like again, it comes back to, have we got the tools to really significantly change it that way? I'm going to pick on one position in particular, which is obviously going to be Emerson, because that is the weakest link as far as I'm concerned. Now, Conte, before, when he's at Chelsea, he took the likes of Victor Moses, turned him from a winger into a wing back. Why? Yeah. Because he could see there was something there to do it. He's not afraid to do that. So why is he not doing it at Tottenham? It's because he's obviously not seeing that in the other players, that they can do that. So we're stuck with Emerson because he just doesn't trust another player to offer what Victor Moses could do and convert from that wing, from the forward role. I mean, there's so many cries for Lucas Moura to do it. Now, Lucas Moura runs around a lot, but we'd have the same problem. He'll go forward. How many times does Lucas Moura put in a great cross? It's occasionally, yeah, sure, but you don't see him as that sort of overlapping winger swinging in worldies from the.
He's better in 10. He's so much better in a 10. Anyway.
Yeah. So he's clearly not going to do it. So that leaves Bergwijn again. Do you want him doing that, or do you want him doing what he did against Leicester, coming on as an impact sub?
Well, you could do it. you could do three rather than the 3-4-3. You could do a 3-4-1-2. Get rid of Kulusevski and bring in. And I'm a massive fan of Kulusevski. I love him to pieces. I'm so blown away by how he started, but the last couple of games he's been ineffectual since Emerson's been in the team. Adapt. I think that maybe there's a call to bring in Lucas and put him in the 10 role and let Sonny and Kane sit in front of them and go 3-4-1-2.
Well, if you're going to go 3-4-1-2, then you definitely need some great wing backs because they'll be entirely the width of the team. It's a very narrow shape apart from the wing backs. So it would be even more stuffed, in my opinion. There'll be no sort of natural width to assist the wing back with it. They're getting on with it themselves. I mean, before Pochettino was great at doing this with players. When he got people with that sort of engine, Danny Rose, Kyle Walker, before that, Luke Shaw at Southampton. They were all outstanding wing backs. The more you get away from that sort of player, the less effective they're going to be. We are missing those sort of players. I believe Sessegnon can do it, but again, he's been wrecked by injuries. We haven't really seen it so far. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. It's an unknown quantity. Reguilon's been utterly frustrating because he did it when he first started and then just disappeared, and it's not come back since. On the right-hand side, now with Doherty's injury, we've got nothing at all. So again, it's back to, it's all well and good saying all these different formations, but if you literally do not have the players to make it work, it's not going to. The saying 3-4-1-2 to me screams out you need even better wing backs than we got. Not that you're going to get better out of what we do.
Okay, so maybe that's not it, right? That maybe that particular formation isn't it. Barry, is there any other? I'm begging you guys to help me out here with, because if I wake up on Sunday morning and I see at midday that the team sheet comes out and it's the same 3-4-3 and Emerson's on the right and it's the only difference is whether Reguilon or Sessegnon plays on the left and everything else is the same, I'm going to lose my fucking shit. I will lose my shit, and I don't want to lose my shit on camera because I'm usually pretty.
But Sean, what are you gonna? But what's the option? There is no option. So why?
Well, we're trying to talk the options through. Okay, so wait. So look, there are options. Someone here. Who is it? How far back have I got to go? Someone was talking about going to the youth. Lavenier. Where is he? Mr. HIT Young.
Yeah, and then what happens? He has a shit game. Oh, why is Conte playing the young players?
Here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
No, fine, but like, what's the risk? Like, were you impressed against? We got, you know what? We've only got like half an hour more, and I've still got other news to get through. But I want to just to finish this particular topic up, Barry. Lavenier, Potocki, right? Like, is it so drastic? If they're natural right wing backs, if they are naturally good, they're 21 years old, like sink or swim time. I'm sorry, like, do any of you have any faith in Emerson at all?
No.
Then what difference does it make putting on a kid and letting him sink or swim? Because it can't be much worse. Do you agree or disagree? Would you rather go with like a known shit show or an unknown shit show?
Oh, that depends. Because see, Conte's going to see him in training, isn't he? So he's going to have a much better idea whether he's ready or not.
Emerson's not ready. He's not ready.
But that's what I'm saying. Perhaps he is compared to the others. Perhaps that is literally, that's how bad we are in that spot, that Emerson is the best choice at the moment.
Maybe.
I mean, the other drawback about throwing a kid in, yeah, I agree with that. If we were, say, we had no chance of top four or even no chance of Europe this season, we'd say 10th, 11th, no problem. Throw in a kid for the end until the end of the season. See what they can do. No pressure at all. But we are in that race for fourth.
Liverpool do it, and they're in a Premier League race. And
but look at the quality they surround that player with when he comes in. He's not just there standing out like a sore thumb, and people are thinking he's got to do it by himself. Liverpool support him properly because they got quality players all the way through. We don't have that option. It's again, it's always going to come back to that. Like Barry said earlier in the show, you look at the midfield. If we want to change up that, who do we bring on? Winks.
Yeah. I hear you about Winks. Like, I've got no interest in seeing Harry Winks. That's a tried and tested failure.
Apply it to all the other positions as well. There's just limited options.
We have no idea what Lavenier could do. Do you remember last season, Japhet Tanganga made his debut? Again, I think it was against Liverpool.
Yep.
And he put in an absolute shift. He was amazing. I think he scored an own goal, an accidental own goal in his second game. But he put in an absolute shift in his debut and was awesome in his second game. And everyone, like, at the time was like, oh, fuck, the kid's hit an own goal. That was his debut last season against Liverpool. He was out of this world. And I was like, wow, this kid's stepping up. He's taking his chance, right? Ever since then, you know, you can make the argument that he's not ready. But at the moment, he stole his chance and he went, I'm fucking taking this. And he put in an absolute worldie. I thought, like, who's to say that Lavenier can't do it, or Potocki, whatever his name is, right? I don't know. I don't follow the youth team at Tottenham that well, so I don't know what these kids are really like. But it can't get much worse than Emerson Royale, in my opinion. Let me just get through a couple of things before we're going to move on, because Izan, I'd love to get into this question, mate, but we only have half an hour left, and there's other things to talk about. So the signings thing, great to see you, bro, but we can't do that one today. And I'm gonna come through this, get through these in a second, but I do want to move on because the next talking point that I had was Charlie Eccleshare, who's a Tottenham insider, in the know, journalist, whatever. He was on a podcast last night, and he said, my quote, Antonio Conte is part of the problem here, not just tactically and strategically. If Ranić's status at United is part of the problem, then Conte having a short contract, which may or may not be his choice, is giving the players an out. This is something that at various points of the season, I've been told has been a bit unsettling for players. Think back to the Burnley meltdown. A lot of the players woke up to reports saying that we don't know if the manager will be here next season, and the short-term contract means that we certainly don't know beyond next season. Next question I'm going to ask you, boys, is the uncertainty around Conte, whether it's down to him and his team, whether it's down to Paris, Le Parisien, newspaper, whatever, do we have to lay any of the last 2 weeks worth of shit show performances at the feet of the uncertainty and the speculation around Conte's future? Barry, I'll come to you first, mate. I want to hear your thing. I'm gonna bust. I'm gonna be able to hear what you're saying, but I'm gonna go just for a wee quickly. So
just make sure you turn your mic off, mate.
Yeah.
No, I transfer to these bad boys. It's all good. Barry, go for it, mate. Go.
Look, I think all this nonsense with this media rubbish is just ridiculous. I don't know what you think, Hoover, but it's just another thing to throw at us, to the media being the media. Look, I think we all agree. I think we'd like him to come out and probably say none of this is true, just to kind of quash it. But look, if it is true, then I think Bob Spur's been quite vocal about it. Is that kind of fuck him. Tottenham Hotspur will still be there whether he's there or not. I just think the timing and everything else around it is, it's the usual rubbish that comes with the media and Tottenham Hotspur. They don't want us to do well. They want to throw a spanner in the works at every opportunity, and that's what they'll do. The same with what happened against Villa. It wasn't that we played well. The media were saying we were lucky. So it's just the media narrative, and that was the quickest piss in history, by the way, Sean. If you could keep your questions down to the same time you go to the toilet, then it would be much appreciated.
I'm learning.
That's a new segment for the show, isn't it? Sean's piss time question.
How long will Sean go to the toilet in a shorter time than he will ask one of his questions?
No, that's a different kind of stream.
Very good. He's here all day.
No,
Sorry, Barry. Carry on, bro. Carry on, buddy.
No, I'm done. It's Kuva's turn. I wanted to keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, it's all part and parcel of being a club, isn't it? I mean, did we have a meltdown with Harry Kane's getting linked with being moving away? When anybody, all the way through history, it's been like this. You get a little bit of unsettled players when these rumours are going around. I mean, we've had teams performing when the club was even in danger of going out of existence. You still get on with a job. You've got to keep focused on stuff. If they're too incapable of performing just because there's some rumours flying around, it just shows weak character and weak mentality to me. You've got to be 100% focused on your job at all times. The rest of it's not in their control. What are they going to do? Why are they going to get all uppity about it or unsettled about it? You play through it. Rumours will always fly round. Are Liverpool falling off the rails because Salah's linked with moving away? No, of course they're not. It's just part of being a club, part of being a big club. I mean, if you've got a big name manager and you're a big club, then that rumour mill's always going to go round. So I don't see the problem. I don't see that as being an excuse at all. I think it's fine.
It's not an excuse, but is it an influence? Like, is Harry Kane sitting there right now talking to his brother or whoever the next agent is going? I find out whether or not there's any truth to it.
Anything that ever comes up in the media is going to be some sort of influence, though, isn't it? If there's any opinion-based thing on the club, it's going to have some sort of influence.
Should Conte be coming out and saying, I've heard about this, but just for what it's worth, I'm loving my time at Tottenham. I'm entirely focused on Tottenham. I can't wait till the end of the season to, for us to rebuild and to grow and to plan for next season. My contract is there any? I know that, like, if you always responded to every bit of media speculation, then you'd never have time to do your job. I get it. But when there's this much on the line for Tottenham, there's an obscene amount on the line, financially, monetarily. You have to also factor in Manchester United are going to be rebuilding their entire squad next season, and they have a never-ending bucket of money, right? So you're going to have Ten Hag coming in with Paul Mitchell and Ralph Rangnick, and they're going to want to go after more players. They need more players than Tottenham do, right? Mm. You have Newcastle that are going to be spending another 150 million because they've still got 300 million left in their balance before they're in breach of financial fair play, right? So, and then you have all of I'm not going to get into it today because we haven't got time, but they have the economic recession which is about to hit, and the magnitude of inflation. So people like Daniel Levy, who are always looking for an excuse why not to spend money, are going to be sitting there going, well, I don't know if we can rely on 62,000 seat capacities, and I'm not sure we can rely on the £1.4 million merchandise and match day revenue this season coming, because no one's going to be able to afford to go to Tottenham when they can't afford their heating bill. There's all these variables going on in the background, and we're right on the cusp of getting to a position where you can offer a player more than Manchester United. You can offer them the best stadium, the best training ground, the best manager, the best level of football to be played in the best league, in the best city in the world. That's one scenario. Or you've got another scenario, which is no certainty around the manager, no certainty around Harry Kane, no certainty around Europa League, right? Is it worth, in this instance, Conte coming out just once and saying, just to clear this up, I'm Tottenham. So, forget all that noise. And that would settle the players down, make them go from a 6 out of 10 effort on game day to an 8 out of 10 effort on game day, get us over the line, and then be able to compete with the Manchester Uniteds and Newcastles in the summer. Is it worth it? Because for me, I'd like Conte to come out and be a little bit less blurry and blasé about his messages just once, because he hasn't been thus far.
I think there's two ways of looking at it. If it's Conte that's asking for the short-term contracts, then you'd say perhaps he's not that committed. If it's Levy insisting on it because he's been stung with all these big payoffs for previous managers, then maybe Levy just needs to put his hand in his pocket again, offer Conte a longer-term contract. Then sit down with him, have Conte holding up the shirt again, or the that picture of him signing the contract at the desk. That was always a popular one under Poch, wasn't it? When players were getting new contracts. Big scene of that. Just do that. So either way, if Conte isn't committed, he doesn't have to say a damn thing. That's fine. If Levy isn't if Levy does want a longer term contract, does want to show that he's committed, offer him a longer contract and show him signing it. Simple. So balls in their courts, really. I mean, depends who wants what.
Barry, I appreciate you, Cube, on that one, mate. But Barry, what do you? Am I mad to be asking for a little bit of commitment, or are you part of the in Conte we trust mindset? Because there's a lot of people in the community who have been saying in Conte we trust, and if he fucks off before Daniel Levy's had a chance to fuck it up for him, then I'll be calling out those people that said, "Oh, whatever Conte wants, Conte gets," and just trust the guy. He's a hero. Because at the moment, I'm like, show us. You're getting paid a fuck of a lot of money. You're getting paid more money than anybody else at Club Tottenham Hotspur. I'm not that impressed with your tactical substitutions. I'm not that impressed with your flexibility. And I want you to stay. I want you to be a part of Tottenham's future for the next, not just the next 12 months, but the next 3 years. But I'd like you to show a little bit of acknowledgement of what damage can be done, according to Charlie Eccleshare, which is why I asked this question in the first place, about the lack of consistency in your messaging and the lack of clarification on your future.
Yeah, I mean, look, I said while you went to the toilet. Obviously, you weren't listening. Is that I'd like him to come out and just say, I'd like him to come out and say, "I'm here. This is me. You know, what have you? We'll sit down in the summer, discuss my situation once we've got the next 5 games out of, I mean, that doesn't really clear it up, but at least that comes out and says that there's some sort of plan, right? And I think all of these managers, look, like Kuva said, all of these players in the spotlight and the managers, they will have this thing where they need to, they need to show a bit of this. And I think he's doing it to try and play Levy his own game and try and have these mind games, to try and have this smoke screen and smoke and mirrors to say, I'm not going to show you my hand. I've told you what we need to do. I've told you this is what we need to do. And then that's maybe where this assurances are coming from in the summer and everything else, because he's saying, I'm doing all of this, but I'm not getting anything back. But I agree with you in the fact that maybe we do want him to say, this is the plan, regardless of where we finish. I mean, I don't think he's going to come out and say, look, regardless of where we finish, I'm staying for another year. I'll sign another contract, everything else. He wants those assurances that we're going to invest to take the club. He's not come here to get top 4. He's come here to win the league. He's come here to win trophies. He's not come here to finish top 4. Top 4 with this group of players is beyond anyone's wildest dreams, considering what we've all said, right? So that's the point. It puts, we get top 4 and there's nowhere to hide. We can't sit there and say there's not going to be any money. We can't sit there and say there'll be this and everything else. There is no other solution apart from we need to invest, we need to back him, because he's literally gone, look at the shit that you've got. I've got you from 10th in the league to Champions League football. Give me what you want and I will give you the Premier League. I will give you... God, I'm not going to go as far as saying give you the Champions League, although the Champions League probably would be easier to win than the Premier League over the, based on knockout football, right? So...
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so... I don't know. Let's just see. We're just going to have to see.
All right, Barry, I know you got to jump off, haven't you, mate?
Yeah, I've got to shoot. I've got to go and do some work.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, thank you so much for dropping on. We're not going to be going for more than a few more, like 15 more minutes. Kuba, if you still got that time.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. I'm not going to be going for 15 minutes, but in the last hour, I've asked 2 questions. So if I ask any more, we'll be going for 2 hours. So.
Well, Club Spurs talk show, verbosity and aggression. Barry, thank you for joining me. Let me get your.
Worries, mate.
Wait.
Cheers,
Wait. Let me get your tell everybody. There's 55 people in the stream, which is actually insane considering it's 3:45 on a Tuesday. None of you guys have got jobs, just like us. Or we're working from home.com. But Shelfside Spurs is in the link. Guys, if you haven't already, Barry's about to tell you why you should, but please hit the link and go and hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Barry, talk about your channel.
Yeah, so the show on Thursday will be the year anniversary since the first show. So not the year since I've been on there, but a year anniversary from the first show. So I think we're 25 away from 500 subscribers. So we will go out live on Thursday at 7:00. There may be a little bit of a special guest appearance from Mickey Hazard. We don't know yet. Alan is on the Legends tour with him tomorrow, so he's going to accost him, let's just say, in the best way that Alan can do. Maybe go for a bit of a sympathy vote as well. But yeah, come and join us Thursdays at 7:00 GMT, and also Mondays 10 a.m. for Tottenham Tea and Toast, where we review the weekend's game and the back pages. And if Alan can't make it, then Kuva comes on. So, you know,
hashtag still waiting to be invited. It's been a long time.
Well, maybe if you maybe you might be invited on Monday.
You need to start changing your name more. I'll tell you, gets you places.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for having us on, guys. Thanks for asking two questions, Sean. And Kuva, when I have a look in about an hour's time, you guys will still be going. So
I'll still be waiting for that question to hit any time.
This is outrageous. Slander.
Love you guys. I'll see you later.
Give him a doorbell on the way out, at least.
I'll give him something on the way out. Come on, out you go. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, please go and hit that link to the Shelfside Spurs. Or as Cody's saying, Shelfside Spurs. Apparently, I was slurring my words there. It's a great channel, and there's 50 people right now. So if you haven't already, go over there and hit the subscribe button. You won't even miss anything here because it just opens up another tab. What I would ask you all to do, though, please, if you haven't already, hit the like button. There's only 30 people that have hit the like button on this channel, and there's still 45 of you watching. So hopefully some of you wouldn't mind just tapping, massaging, brutalizing, or whatever you want to do to the like button. It's okay with me as long as it's tapped just once. Kuva, let me ask you this. Going to move on a little bit because we've only got a few minutes
left. I'll just get comfy. Hang on.
Right. Okay, so a little bit of news today about two transfer players, targets. The first one, Tuto Mercato Web, claimed that Nicolo Zaniolo will not sign a new contract at Roma. Jose Mourinho's side are willing to cash in on the player to the tune of £42 million, about 48 million euros. Recently, Tottenham and Liverpool have both been linked with the Italian talent. Zaniolo, who's 22 years old, has been in excellent form for Roma since the arrival of Mourinho. After suffering several injury issues, the Italian star has returned this campaign and sparkled at times, partnering Tammy Abraham up front. Are you someone that, do you know much about the guy? Are you interested in him? I think he kind of he's in the kind of same ilk as all the other names we get, Dybalas and all the other strikers that are 40 million quid that we've been targeted with. Is it realistic, or is he just another?
He's a fantastically talented player, no doubt about it. It'd be awesome, but, and it's a really big but, he has had those ACL injuries in both knees, I believe. So he's a huge injury risk. And would you want to spend that kind of money on somebody that, with a dodgy knees? He's like basically a double Ledley. I don't think I'd spend the money on him, to be honest. If you could pick him up on a free, he might be worth a gamble. Just see if you can actually squeeze something out of him, or whether he's going to end up on the scrap heap. It's a really dodgy call, that one. But pure talent, though. Absolute top class he is.
He's also only got 6 goals this term.
Yeah.
In like 35 appearances. So I mean, they're talking about him like he's a mercurial, talent, someone that's going to compete. I'd rather have, Memphis Depay, who scores a goal every other game in his career over 11 years or 10 years, right? I'd rather have any of those players. It's all the same sort of money, right? 40 million quid. You get Dybala, you can get this guy Zaniolo, you can get. I'll say before we continue the conversation, guys. I've actually just figured out that I have got a little bit more time. Kuba, I don't know if you have as well, but if there is anybody else who wants to join in the stream, I'll put it in there. We're not going to be going for a long time. Said famous last words, but if anyone is in the stream who's got 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever, and wants to jump in and continue the conversation with us, whether it's about Conte, whether it's about Kane, whether it's about any of these transfer things, then the StreamYard link is there, and you're more than welcome to join us. Kuba, Zaniolo, right? Is he? I'm just going to call out the stats, right? So he's played 25 games in Serie A this season. He scored 2 goals. He's done nothing in Coppa Italia. He scored 2 goals in 7 games in the Europa League. Oh, that was last season. Sorry. No, so he's got 25 goals and 25 games and 2 goals in Serie A this season, and nothing in the Coppa Italia. Is he someone that, for that much money?
I mean, again, I'll go back to the fact that he's so injury prone. If he wasn't so injury prone, I think it'd be well worth it. He's a really exciting, creative sort of player. Definitely something different to anything we got at the moment. It's just too much of a gamble from my point of view. We've seen how frustrating it is with the likes of Sessegnon, injured half the time. It doesn't feel like he's getting anywhere. But it's the temptation's there. I can see why we get linked with him. Can see why Liverpool get linked with him as well, because he really is quite special when he's on form.
And the other bit of news, mate, out is, according to a report in the Turkish media outlet, I'm going to butcher this, Turkey Gazetesi, via Sports Witness, who claimed that Fabio Paratici has submitted an €8 million bid, a 6.75 million pound offer for the Besiktas left back Ridvan Yilmaz, who's apparently extremely keen on a move to the Premier League. All I can tell you about this fella is he scored 3 goals in 25 games in the Turkish Super League. Don't know much else about him apart from that. And before you give me the answer, quickly, actually, whilst you're giving me the answer, no, you know what? Before you give me the answer, the doorbells are ringing, but I'm not going to play the doorbell because there's 3 people and we haven't got that much time. I'm going to bring them all in at once. Ladies and gentlemen, please bring it up for dun 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 the Owl's Life. Please also give it up for dun 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 the steak. And please also give it up for dun 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 Bobby K.
It's Bobby. I actually like that rendition, Sean.
Yeah, well, just trying to make it quick and simple.
There you go, buddy. That's it. Get her done. Good morning, Sean, Kuba, Mr. Alexander, and of course, As Life.
Right, Kuba, come first. Anything about this fella, Ridvan Yilmaz? Do you know much about him?
No idea, mate. Absolutely no idea.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't know either.
What was the name, Sean? Sorry?
Ridvan Yilmaz.
Yilmaz, yeah. It's like is he the Turkish striker?
He's a left back, but he's in Turkey.
Oh no,
Besiktas. He's a Turkish Besiktas player, left back.
I know somebody else called Yilmaz, plays up front, I think.
All right. Well, where do you guys want to take it? Do you want to get your thoughts off your chest about Conte? Do you want to get your thoughts off your chest about?
He's staying.
The thing with Conte, Sean, and the reason why he's only been given a short-term contract, I think a lot of it is down to the fact that he doesn't usually stay too long at clubs, and I don't think I don't think Conte was going to ever sign a 3.5-year contract when he came, with Levy worrying about are you going to do 3.5 years?
Yeah.
So I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know what to think about Spurs at the moment. It's so confusing. A bloody lot of it. It's so.
Would you want? Do you want to see a change to the formation, or do you want to see a change to the? How would you feel, Alan, if the same team sheet popped up on Sunday?
Can I answer that after Leicester have played their first leg tomorrow? Because I'm not being funny. I just don't know what team we're going to face in Leicester. If Leicester get a beating or it's a close game tomorrow, I've got a funny feeling Leicester ain't going to come at us strong, because Leicester Leicester cannot finish much higher than 9th, possibly 8th in the league best this season. Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, I think they're 10 points adrift of Europe at the moment. There's only 6 games left. They are putting all their eggs in this one basket. They are going for this Europa Conference League thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, if it comes out with a close game on Thursday, I think they will. I think you're going to see a not very strong team put out against us. That's my view.
No, I take it. I take your point. But I don't. Fuck it. It drives me up the fucking wall that we have to like wait and. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
but like, we should be able to beat Leicester anyway, right? We should be able to do.
Yeah. But when you look at the Leeds, and Everton games, which we completely overrun them, just watch it back and watch the movement Son was making. Kane was getting marked. Son was running all over the place, pulling these players out of the way. And for some unknown reason, Kane was losing his man. The trouble with Kane is he's not the fastest person on the planet. He's got the strength. He hasn't got almighty speed. And the trouble is, if he's being man-marked, I don't think he's always got the pace to get away from him.
No.
And that's what's a big problem with him.
Yeah, but against Everton, this is the problem. The only problem I have, and I'll hold my hands up and say that I was uber bullish when we went on that massive run, and I was like, yeah, we're guaranteed top 4. I was always top 4, like I told you so. I hold my hands up because now I doubt that. I'm not of the same belief, and I look back now and think about the Everton game and the Leeds game. And I think that the only reason we beat those guys is because those guys didn't give a shit about how to play against Tottenham. They played their own formation. And the teams that set up against us do far better than the teams that set up with their own.
Liverpool are going to play their. I mean, when we play Liverpool are going to play their system. They're not going to match us up because they want to win.
Yeah.
And the good thing about that is it could play into our hands in the fact that. That's what's happened when we played Man City and a few of the other games. It's given us the space to be able to attack, and we've taken advantage. So that is the good thing that could happen with Liverpool.
Yeah, but I think, Alan, that's where our frustrating point is as fans, is that, okay, we have to rely on how the other team is set up and what they're doing for us to be able to play our football.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
That's what's annoying me and I think a lot of the fans. But again, it comes back to what all of us have been saying. Yeah. What do we expect Conte to do when he has such limited tools in the toolbox? He's not going to be able to build us a cathedral with that. We know that.
But there are options, Bobby, though, right? There
are, and I agree, Sean, that the last game, it frustrated me that, even though we have options on the bench, the last game, what really bothered me is that we did nothing. We did nothing the first time. We were so unbelievably flat. It was disgusting football to watch. So why we didn't make, maybe not a formation change, but a positional change. The way I look at it is, I don't think we could have done worse than what we were doing. So why not take a gamble, throw in Bergwijn over right wing back, or put him up put him up as the striker and let Harry Kane play behind him. Something. Go to a back 4, all these things that we, playing couch football manager would suggest to do. None of it was done. And I think that's why we're frustrated. But I half believe that's Conte sending a message to the board and Levy saying, you need to work with what I want to work with.
Fuck that, Bobby. If he's doing that shit, that's so... I don't believe he is, but if he is doing that crap, it's like sending a message, the reason, and the same questions were asked about when we played Chelsea in the semi-final, and he deliberately played certain players out of position, and then there was the question, is he doing that to send a message?
Yeah, and I wonder, Sean, I do.
It's so disrespectful to Tottenham fans if you're doing that.
It is, but the thing is, it's like everybody's on this whole bandwagon about, no, I don't want Pochettino back. He didn't get it done the first time, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the major difference is between the first run with Pochettino and if, let's say hypothetically, all these bullshit rumors are true. I don't believe any of them. I think it's just media nonsense that, Conte is going to PSG, Pochettino is coming back, blah, 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 blah. I think it's just newspaper fodder, as you guys call it. But if hypothetically it was true, I honestly would, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, I would prefer Pochettino come back because I want my club to have a future. Like, we keep talking about building for the future. How the hell do you build for the future when you bring in a manager and you're switching managers not even every season? Like, we're doing it twice in a season now. Yeah. Like, we're not even going a full, like, we're in our fourth manager now, over the last 2 years. And it's like, are you kidding me? So how do we expect to have an identity? So with Pochettino, at least I know the man loves the badge. He loves the club, and he would put his passion into it. But then we know Levy, unfortunately, that parasite, that piece of shit, as Diego calls him, the parasite.
Hey. We don't call him a parasite on this channel. We respect people as human beings. You're not using that word on this channel.
Is he human?
I was going to say, Sean, you lost it? Hey, Scott! I just noticed, sorry, I have my phone in my pocket. I just noticed Scott's joined us. Hey, Scott.
How's it going?
Good. How are you, buddy? Good. They got 2 Canadians on now. We're not outnumbered. But yeah, I don't have faith that Levy will use him like a puppet manager again. I just don't have the faith that he would support him properly and actually do, as painful as it say, do even what Arsenal did. Like, even get to those heights where we're consistently in Champions League football and at least winning a cup here and there and building on the team. Like, you can't build on a future that keeps changing. It's impossible. It's just impossible.
Okay. Let me bring Scott M in, and then we'll bring Alex in. Scott, sorry, Scott. Give me 2 seconds, man, because Alex was here first, and I haven't actually brought him in. Alex, sorry, mate. What are your thoughts, bro? Are you worried about about Conte's lack of flexibility, or are you part of the group of people that think there's no flexibility available, so he's rigid because he can't be anything else? What are your thoughts?
I think we should start Lavenir or Harvey White at right back because Emerson's not a professional footballer. I could cross a ball better than him, and I probably could run faster and tackle better than him. I'm not joking. And if we do go 4 at the back, like Dyer turns like a wheelbarrow. It's not gonna do. We're gonna be in a worse situation.
Yeah, fair enough.
And,
so stick to the back 3, but you'd rather see someone. Wouldn't want to see
someone a chance at right back. Yeah, give someone a. Yeah,
I'm up for it as well. I'm up for it. I'm up for anything other than what we're seeing.
Can I just have an either or here, Sean?
Yeah, of course.
If you had a choice of playing Emerson at right back, or bringing Winks in and taking him a chance on right back, would you do it?
Winks at right back.
Yeah.
Just be passed sideways.
No, but I would be willing to remove Emerson and bring in.
He could pass better.
Ethel, the tea lady.
Romero might be.
Yeah, listen. Right, I think it was it Kuba? Was it you, mate, who suggested Romero at right wing back?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of options with Romero, either at right back or even drift him into central midfield, just to give you a bit of bite. That's a way of changing the midfield situation.
Why not? Good at this stage, I am literally up for discussing. I haven't got time, but we've got to finish soon. But over the next couple of days, I'll be doing. By the way, guys, I'll be doing. Anyone who's still watching the show, I've been like very lackluster in my live content for a bunch of reasons with my work. But I'm going to be trying and doing an hour or an hour and a half, 2 hour shows at least 3 or 4 times a week. So anyone that wants to come on is always welcome, and we can discuss this in more detail. But today we're running out of time. But I generally am up for basically any other. I'm up for hearing the debate, hearing the argument for anything other than what we're currently seeing. I think Emerson is so past the point of trust not just from the fans' perspective, but the team perspective as well. I don't think there's any trust there. Scott M, listen, mate, I love you to pieces. I know me and you are, we disagree vehemently about Daniel Levy, but I love hearing your opinions about the squad. I know how you feel about the lack of options, but can you find any other option, bro? Can you tell me an option that you can think we can have?
I'll just start off by saying I think this kind of works well for my point, because what I hear everybody saying is, look, and you Sean too, right? I just want to try something different, and I agree with that. But that's why I don't blame Conte for it, because we're basically saying we just need to change something for the hell of it, right? Not because there's like this better plan that we have, not because there's this obvious change. And that's why I agree with you. Like, let's change something, sure. But the reason I don't blame Conte is because I think we're just changing it because we want to hope that something can be better. And to me, that's why it's not his fault. Yeah, that's kind of the point that I have. Yeah, I don't know. I would try, like, Lavigne. I don't know. He's 21 years old. Nobody else, like Nuno, didn't really ever play him. He hasn't. I'd
never heard of him before he was on the bench against Brighton. I
haven't seen him playing for England youth teams. I don't know. Not that that's the be all and end all, but you know what I mean. Like, most of these guys that are good quality players have some of that experience. Like, it just seems, again, sure, let's play him because Emerson's terrible, but it just seems like we're playing him because he's a name. Like, if Sean Butler was our 21-year-old right wing back, would we be, we'd be throwing your name in there? Do you know what I mean?
I hope not.
It's just kind of, but that's the point that
I'm
we're
like
at.
265 pounds, Scott. There's a problem with you playing me at right wing back.
Hey, you might not be any worse than Royal, but the point, we're not saying like let's play him because of all the quality that we've seen from him. We're saying play him because he's a name on our team, right? That's it. There's not a whole lot of people saying I've seen him do this, so let's put him in there. It's just like let's just play him because we want anybody.
If not Lavigne, right? Because that's like an unknown. I don't know if any of us in the six, and we're going to wrap it up, guys, really soon. I've got in 10 minutes. I've got to shoot, but if Lavigne is too much of an unknown because none of us know much about him and don't know, is Bergwijn or Sessegnon at right wing back, and then swap out.
That's what I would.
And put in Mora or Bergwijn. Like,
that's where I would go for right wing back. Is trying either Sessegnon or Reguilon, whichever one we feel is more comfortable playing both of them. So one of them plays left wing back, one of them plays right wing back. I know there might be issues about if they're left-footed, right-footed, but they know the position. I think that it's easier for them to make that transition to the other side of the pitch, knowing where you're supposed to be on the field, right? Compared to somebody who's never played it at all. The one for change that I would make is think about if we could put Kulusevski back more into a midfield role and try to go to a 3-5-2 more, like have him playing there, have Kane and Son more up front. Try that more. That might be something that I would look at because just to help out. I don't know how much it would work. Yeah. I mean, again, Kulusevski's more on the right wing, but just for something. But we just don't have the player. Like I prefer overall that we're a 3-5-2. That's when Conte came in. That's
I like it as well.
He's worked more with. I think it makes more sense. I think Kane and Son are better in the front two than they are in the front three. But we don't have the midfield because I don't want.
Would you have Kane come back into the midfield in the 3-5-2? Would you have Kane play the 8?
We could. My only concern there is I don't think Kulusevski is a great natural finisher.
So swap him for Bergwijn, right?
So I might want to have, and I don't think Bergwijn. I think we need Kane's finishing up there. Like I wish we had. If we had a better player who could partner with Son that could be better at finishing, then I would move him back. But either or, I mean, or you could try both, right? You could have Kulusevski back there. If we're not getting it, you could switch them, right? There's not like it's not like it's playing on your video game where when you put somebody in there, you kind of stuck where they are, right? So you could try either. I would be totally fine trying either or, right? Have Kulusevski back there or Kane back there.
Scott,
go Al. Yeah, go for it, mate.
Yeah, the only thing I would be worried about putting Kulu in the middle. The only thing I'd worry about is. He is very, very. I know he has played a few nice balls in with his right, but 90% of it is always on his left, and we suffered the same problem with Lamela. Yeah, if you're using your left foot too much, I think at the end of the day, I think it will make the midfield five weaker. That's my own view.
Yeah, it's not, and I think we saw
With
a little
Kane,
bit with
if Kane dropped
Lo Celso too, right?
Yeah. If Kane dropped deeper, if Kane did drop deeper, and they did try and use Simon Kulu as a main, and Kane pushed up when we were going forward, yeah. At least you know with Kane, he can swing it with his right or he can swing it with his left. You know, he can do it both. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think I want to see him playing on a permanent, but it could be an idea to play him there, because if we get up forward enough, then at the end of the day, Kane's going to still be arriving on the scene to try and do something.
But that's part of the system of play, though, isn't it? With the inverted wingers, is you're using the wing backs as the width. Yeah. They're the ones putting the cross in.
Yeah.
The inverted wingers are getting into the box.
Yeah.
If you're saying they're staying out wide to put the cross in, who's getting into the box? It'll be Kane by himself.
True.
It's you pick one or the other. You can't really do both with it.
Guys, it is a predicament that we will continue to discuss this week on the channel. I promise you, as I'm on the march to 1,000 now. I've got 923 subscribers.
Nice, Sean. Very good.
If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. What I'm going to do right now is give everybody a minute and a half, 2 minutes, a rant as much as you want about whatever you want, and try and keep it about the Leicester formation. And then at the same time, if you have a channel, please plug it, and I will put the links to everyone's channels in the description. Kruger, I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to go around to Al, then to Steak, then to Scott, and then to Bobby K last. Couple of minutes, go where you want to go, talk about it, because I've got to finish up in the next 10 minutes. So, Kruger, rant away, and if you've got a plug it.
Right. Yeah, I'm not fussed about Leicester because we've been on a good run. We've had a couple of bad results recently, but before that we were playing some sensational stuff. And it's Leicester who always scores against Leicester. Harry Kane, he's due some goals. We'll find a way. He'll get in the box. He'll get in the understuff, and we'll smash them aside because it's Leicester. Let's have it. Love beating them anyway. Just because they're pipping us to a title race once. That's it. Just put them aside, back on the track, back on the horse, in the race for top four. It's all on still, no problem. Or is it?
We'll never know.
No, that Doherty injury really could be a defining moment of the season. But yeah, we should still have enough about us. We really should. I'm up for the idea of just giving anybody a try instead of Emerson as well. But it is just pure guesswork. That could be worse. That's the trouble. It could be worse. It might weaken the defense even
Can't be
more.
much fucking worse though, can it, mate? Come on.
Can't. At least Emerson can head it, I suppose.
Well, actually, that is a fair point. He was like Brentford are a decently sized team, and they have they had Ericsson with 20 odd corners, and I think Emerson was responsible for clearing about 40% of the corners with his head. So everyone critiques him for his inability to go forward and in play, but set pieces, he was actually brilliant. I got to hand it to him. He was actually he went up from like a 4 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10 to a 5 or a 6 because he was so good in the air from corner kicks on Saturday. So it could be worse. You're right.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Otherwise, I'll just go straight into bigging up channels. Because I'm not a host anywhere at the moment.
You're back on this channel, Kuva. You're back on this channel, mate. We'll talk afterwards.
Maybe. So I'll just go for some of my favourites. Shelf Side Spurs. Absolutely bloody love their channel. Always said they deserve way more likes than they get. Really good chemistry amongst a lot of them. Really fun stuff. The whole Owl's Life thing has been genius. I don't think Owl loves it himself, but he's a star from it.
Owl's Life.
So Shelfside, definitely get over there and give it a watch because it's so off the wall. It's really good fun.
Yeah. Mari's about football.
Yeah, sometimes maybe the last 5 minutes cram something in. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll just go around the channels. Like Mari does a great channel. It's just totally something different. A bit more of a game show atmosphere to it at times.
I haven't got Mari's channel's link here, so I can't put it in.
Paxton Road, they're always doing their own thing. I like getting on there. It's quite a nice little atmosphere. And Bob Spur, of course, now he's back. He's like the granddaddy of super positive, isn't he? So
I got Bob Spurs. I need to update my list of all the channels.
And all those channels. Don't really need to big up the likes of the two Bryans because they're on fire with Tottenham on tour now, but mention them anyway. And
I'll put them in there anyway.
Just go ahead, all those channels. Spurs Asian, another nice little channel. Will Stewart. It's a bit of variety, different way of looking at things. It's all good.
Moving too fast for me. I'm going to put everyone's link in.
Put up youtube.com.
Yeah, youtube.com/steak.com. All right, let's go. Al, Vancouver, mate, amazing, mate. Thank you for coming on, bro. I will talk to you afterwards about rejoining me as a co-host. Al,
I've got 10 seconds, haven't I? I've got 10 seconds after that.
You got 2 minutes. Actually, since Cooper started doing it, the numbers have gone back up again. So, like, we've got 50 people watching. So, I've already put your link in the stream, Al. But talk about the final thoughts on the on the
no disrespect. As I say, I'm as depressed as everyone with the fact that we've got that formation. We're playing the same formation. The teams are sussed us out. So it's just a case of hoping that there's something there. I think if we get a result off Leicester, I think Liverpool are going to play their way, so they are playing to our hands. Arsenal ain't got no fucking choice, so it'll be just a case of what happens on the last 2 games. Right, I'm going to just plug the old, again, Chelsea Spurs. Absolutely love being part of it. Coming up to our 1st year anniversary this week. It should be Friday, but of course we're doing the show on a Thursday. I will be having a word with Mickey Hazard on my travels tomorrow because I'm 58 years young tomorrow.
Oh, hey!
And I'm going, and my children are taking me. Well, my daughter's paid for the trip. We're going to see going on the stadium tour with Mickey Hazard. So if I get 5 minutes to spare and have a chat with him, I'm just going to ask him if he'll just make a fleeting visit at least to celebrate our 1 year anniversary.
Could you also ask him? Could you get your phone out and ask him to say "Game Day"?
In that exact voice.
No, with that voice, I don't think so. It's not going to work, surely.
No one quite does it the way I do it.
That northern accent is just not got that game day out of it, you know.
Last thoughts, Alan, on the Conte thing. What do you want to see on Leicester? Do you want to see us? You know, as I'd
love to see something happen different at the back, even if it is Kulusevski and Mora in front. Even though it might be a wrong way of happening, I don't know. I'd like to see something different, but as I say, I've got a funny feeling Leicester's going to be having their minds elsewhere. That's my own.
Love that, mate. It's a great point that we hadn't mentioned, and it's a very good variable. Leicester are going to be distracted. When's their game? Thursday, right?
Thursday, yeah. They're playing Thursday.
Who have they got?
At home to Roma.
So in the semi-final.
So it's not going to be an easy game.
Be a great game to watch as well. Great point, Alan. Please, guys, get over to Shelfside Spurs. I'll put the link in the chat. Alongside everybody else's, I've already put Bobby's kids channel 3 Spurs boys in the chat. I've also put Tottenham on tour, Bob Spurs TV, and I'll put everyone else's as we can continue. But Shelfside Spurs with Alan, and also, of course, Barry, who was on earlier, who had to jump off. Thank you so much for jumping on. Steak, Alex.
Yeah.
Mate, I know you haven't got a channel to drop. If you've got a particular a style of steak that you'd like to recommend or a recipe, but also if you'd like to have medium rare, tomahawk or something like that, nice, right? A little bit of Salt Bay on it, lovely, jubbly.
Yeah.
What would you like to say? What's your ideal team sheet for Sunday? Do you want to see the same? Do you want to see something different? What do you want, mate?
See the same, but I would like to see Bergwijn at right wing back if he wants to. If he doesn't, then put Mora there. Levy out, me in, Steak in, Emerson out, Steak at right back. We're winning the league. Champions League's ours, and Conte's staying.
All right,
And
mate.
Leicester's going to be thrashed, and I'm going to be there.
Are you going to the game, are you?
Yeah.
Nice
Can,
one, mate.
can I just butt in quickly for one thing? I've just had confirmation.
Yeah.
Skip is definitely out for the rest of the season. He's had he's had an operation in America this morning. And he will be out for the season.
I think that was, I didn't know about the operation, but I think we all knew he wasn't going to be playing. It's a shame. Hopefully he'll be fit for next season because we need him drastically. All right, Scott M. Thanks, Steak. Scott M. So you've got 2 minutes, mate. If you've got a channel, if you don't have your own, I know you haven't got your own channel, but if you want to particularly, I know that you're on a few more channels more regularly than you are others, so happy to promote those and then and tell us what you want to see on Sunday.
I think Kuva covered most of them, but I'll give a shout out. I don't know if he said Colin's channel and Tiago Talking Ball. It's North American, and Colin's closer to me, so that's a show that I often go on because of the time it works. It works for me being a farther out west in North America than most people are. So, other than that, I think it is frustrating with Conte. Some people thinking that he's being too stubborn. I think it's just managers in general. A lot of other clubs, you hear them talk about, they often talk about that stubbornness from their manager. And as fans, I think it's easier for us to kind of do those crazy changes. We don't have all the same, responsibilities and other aspects that we have to deal with that managers do. So I do think we're going to see, as much as I don't want to, I imagine we're going to see pretty much the same lineup, maybe Reguilon instead of Sessegnon, but I'm pretty sure Royale will still be out there playing right wing back, frustrating us all. I think for Leicester, what it always comes down to, and I've been consistently saying it, if Kane and Son show up, we'll beat them. They don't have the ability, even with Fofana back, who's a great player. I don't think they have the ability to deal with Kane and Son if they're on their game. So let's hope that they've had a kind of a few weeks of not up to their level of standards, and now they're ready to come back. Because if those two are on, they raise the game of everybody else. Everybody else looks better because of what they can do for the club. So that's my hope. Kane and Son back, pump a few goals past Leicester, and
love it.
Then we get on to the two probably hardest games we have left with Liverpool and Arsenal.
Love it, mate. Love it, Scott. I think that's a fantastic synopsis, mate. I agree with you. It's not just about the players that we need to change out. It's also we need to get more from the players that are the ever presence, and they certainly haven't been on their best games over the last couple of weeks. But we hope that they can be. Bobby K. Last but by no means least, my friend, I've already put you on. I'm going to put your kids' channel in again. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if everyone, if everyone who's still watching, there's still 45 people watching on YouTube and another 10, I think, on other things, other networks. If you haven't already, not just the Bobby K's kids, but especially Bobby K's kids, because there's two youngsters that are just starting out in the
folks.
In the Tottenham community, and it's all about the kids, right? So we're trying to breed the next generation of Tottenham, but also Talking Ball, also Ben Coffey's channel. He did the raid onto this channel, and so it'd be incredibly incorrect of me not to shout them out. I love Ben. Tottenham Tantrum Gold as well. I'm going to put all the links up that I have. I've got every link up I have. If you're still watching this and you haven't subscribed to any of them, click them all. Open up 1,000 tabs, hit the subscribe button. It takes nothing for you to do it, but it means the world to those people.
It's free.
Bobby, talk about your kids channel, but before you do that, talk also about what you want to see from Tottenham on Sunday.
I'm going to go a little bit more drastic. I want to see Cess come in at right wing back because I know then we have the issue with the two left-sided fielders, players on that side. So I want to shift Cess over to the right wing back role. I want to put Son over to the right wing as well. Bring in Bergwijn into the left wing position, and pretty much everybody else stays where they are. So basically,
that's the sort of formation where Leicester turn around to Brendan Rodgers and go, "We didn't plan for this." Now what?
So I think it's time to really just throw the mix out there and fire the players up. I think we've got. Okay. Well, there's no way.
I like it. Go.
I just think we have to do something on the right. We're just so poor. Everybody knows that we're being exposed consistently for it. So we've got to do something over there. Decky, when he gets marked out, we know that Royal's not able to support him and bring him into the game. So he's effectively marked out of the game. They're concentrating on Kane. He's marked out of the game. Sonny then is just left. So we can't rely on one player to what's he going to do? Do what Kane does, run back all the way to our end of the pitch, take the ball and do the Burnley run? we can't expect that all the time. So I think we could just really flip things up again, not having the two left-sided players on one side. So bring Decky over to the left, Sonny keep him over to the right, Cess in the right wing back, and let's see what the hell happens. Let's just go for it. I know Daigle's been going on about this stat with it was William, the Leicester fan, that's been saying it's been win-loss, back and forth between the teams. We win one, they win one. We win, they win. We win, they win. So let's break that damn duck.
Whose turn is it? It's their turn, is it?
It's theirs. It's theirs because we just did that 3-2 last minute comeback win, right? So it's their turn technically. So let's not give them their turn. Let's be selfish pricks. Let's take it away from them and let's just get her done, man. Get her done.
Get her done.
Because it's almost game day, Sonny. Almost. It's almost, baby. We're almost done, man. And I have to know, and I know your fans need to know, is Bugsy off of timeout?
She's back off of timeout.
She's back. She's back on timeout or off timeout?
No, she's out. She's been
she's out free, chewing everything up again.
She's outside. She's doing something.
We love you, Bugsy.
The other
free
day,
Bugsy.
The other day, she caught a golden finch, a little bird that looks like a little small parrot or parakeet kind of thing, a little tiny one. And she was so proud of it, she brought it into the house. And I was like, "No, Bugsy, I don't know how that happened, but you can't do that." And she was disappointed when I had to send the parakeet, the golden finch, to a different planet via the bin. I don't know what happened, but I had to you have to teach these bad
on to
boys.
the next life. On to the next life.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Well overdue. I got to go and take care of a few other things.
Hold on. You asked me about the game, but you didn't give me my chance to plug the channel. That's not fair.
Oh, shit.
Kuba plugged every channel on YouTube except for the three Spurs boys.
I'm so
But you
sorry,
covered it, so thank you very much, Sean. I appreciate it.
Sorry,
Don't worry. I'll be
mate.
calling Kuba as soon as we're done here. You've already covered it, brother. You've said it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all the support we've already received. I'm just going to say like and subscribe when you get over there. And even if you don't want to watch the show, just like and subscribe. The kids, man. Help the kids out. It's all about the children. But no, thank you, everybody in the community. We've received tremendous support. And Sean, almost at 1,000. Phenomenal. I think the last time I was on your show, you just hit 800. So,
yeah, it's going quick.
I think I'm going to come on every milestone. So if I come on once a week, you get another 100 subscribers every week. We'll be at 2,000 within a few weeks. We're good to go, baby. We're good to go.
100%, mate. 100%. Guys,
keep it up, man. You're doing awesome.
Don't neglect any of the channels that I've already plugged.
Especially this one, too. Don't neglect this guy. He's phenomenal.
Listen, if you guys don't mind, please go out of your way to hit every single link I put in there. The Bobby K's kids, they're awesome kids, and they're loving their experience so far, and they're flying up the numbers. So please go out of your way to do that. It's more important to them than it is to anyone else, really, in the grand scheme of things. It's all about setting confidence and setting new benchmarks for them to achieve things. But also,
you're right, Sean, and that's what it's been about. They're every show I'm seeing improvement, and that's, for me, that's the best part of it.
And the content's great. The content is awesome.
Appreciate that. Thanks,
they're going to be superstars in no time at all. I'm going to be on their show, I think, on Sunday. So make sure you definitely subscribe for that, because from an personal ego perspective. If you haven't already, make sure you hit
Leicester post game.
Make sure you hit up Shelf Size Spurs. Make sure you hit up all of the other channels that were here today. They're all in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to round it up. If you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe button, and you'll see me again this week, no doubt tomorrow and Thursday, as I try to amp up. I'm trying to get to 1,000 as quick as possible, just for my little milestones. But thank you, everyone, who's come on, who's gone already, and who's already stayed. And I love you all. But as always,
thanks,
guys,
John.
as always, bye-bye.
Levy out.
Staking.
Have a great day, everybody.